Alrighty, welcome to episode 1 of Walk Toward the Fire with your host, me, Mark Fitzgerald, also known as the host of the Fundamental Escape podcast. Oh, didn't meet the video. Whoops. Sorry about this. At least I know it's working. Okay, perfect. Perfection itself. All right. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about the power of imagination. The power of imagination. Now, what are we going to talk about today? Oh, we are going to talk about. Okay, we've established the video is live. Okay, cool, perfect. Not so perfect. That's fine. Okay, this is kind of my point. The power of imagination, because we want everything to be perfect. And I had a plan in my head that I was going to start this live stream and everything was going to go perfect. And I didn't meet the video, and so I got an echo, and that was dumb. But that's okay. And now I'm going to pause for water. Alrighty. So I want to talk about a few things to start off. One of the things I've noticed being in this sort of echo chamber, as I have been for a good while now, with the left-right politics, social justice, anti-social justice, these collectives that get lumped together and people stop seeing individuals and they start seeing groups, and they, you know, it's hive mind and all that stuff, you know. And I think what happens is it's like we have microscopes. We each have microscopes on the other side, and we're focusing in and we're honing in on the worst things about people, the worst attributes. And it's almost like they're doing the same, and it goes back and forth. And I just want to throw out this idea. Basically, there's a word in Hebrew pronounced Avon in English, like Avon, like the makeup company. Avon calling. So in Hebrew, it's 3 letters. The letters are Ein, Vav, and Nun. Okay, so Ein is basically in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew language, before it were like block letters. Each letter was represented by like a picture, like a pictograph, like hieroglyphics. You know, Egypt writing, all that stuff. So the picture of Ein in Hebrew is an eye, so that's easy to remember. Ein, eye. Vav is the picture of a hook or a nail, okay? And Nun, there was different ways of writing it. One of the ways was one fish multiplying into a whole bunch of fish, and it represented multiplication. So if you put those 3 things together, and by the way, this word, and I should explain what the word means. The word Avon in Hebrew is translated in English as iniquity, or in other words, sin, or, you know, sin, that word that we religious people like to use. So, Ein Vav Nun. So the picture of an eye, the picture of a hook or a nail, and the picture of one fish multiplying into a whole bunch of fish, right? So if you put that together, you've got like a comic strip. So the words basically tell a story if you understand the pictures. So the definition or the understanding of the word iniquity essentially is whatever your eye hooks to multiplies. Do you get that? Does that make sense? So eye, hook, nail. So ein, eye, hook, nun, vav. Sorry, vav is a hook or a nail, meaning connecting, and the nun is multiplication. So whatever your eye hooks to multiplies. And when you think about that, how true is it? Like, think about an example for yourself. So, say if you like someone, you know, you're a boy, you like a girl, whatever. Yeah, traditionally, can I say that? I just did. Oh well. And you see someone that you like, and your eye hooks to the best things about them, and you almost deify that person, and they're angelic, and they're amazing, and they can do no wrong. You know, and so you kind of warp your perspective, because you become almost willingly ignorant of their flaws, and you see them as, as otherworldly, and you put them on this massive sort of pedestal. So yeah, that's just an example. There's negative things as well. So this kind of slowly gets into the conversation I'm trying to have here around imagination. So we are like imagination stations, right? We have this central, hub, this brain that takes in information. We see things and we hear things and we taste things and we touch things and smell things. Like we are, what am I trying to say? We take in the world around us. We're processing it all. But our brain has to filter it. We have to, and this is the power of story. And I think this is why, I think Hollywood is very left-leaning politically and socially, because they understand the power of story. They understand the power of a good narrative and the way that something can be not technically true, but more than true. And it can move us in ways, fiction, storytelling has a way of exposing truth that literal language just can't. It just lacks, There is truth beyond words, and I think that's where we become like playful with our imagination, and we can go all kinds of places. But think about the negative side of it. How many times have you been in an argument with somebody and you walk away and you have 1,000 conversations in your head with that person? Oh, I could have said this. I should have said this. Oh, they're probably talking about me, or whatever, and you go all kinds of places. And I think if we don't recognize the power of imagination, and if we don't harness it, it will dominate us. It will be in play whether we are activating it or not. And so basically, if we're not taking control and using our imagination to change things and to move things forward, we're just destined to repeat. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's like these patterns in your brain. I was thinking today, I'll just give a personal example. I was thinking today, I was like, oh, I lack consistency. I'm not consistent, I wish I was more consistent, like in regards to like getting healthy or whatever, And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I am consistent. I was like, I consistently put myself down. I consistently have a negative outlook about myself, It was like, I am consistent. I'm just consistent about the wrong things. I'm just defaulting to a negative, So yeah, crazy, right? Totally crazy. But yeah, that's the whole thing. And I think if you've seen the movie The Secret, it talks about the power of imagination and things like that. And all these skeptical, rational people want to write this stuff off as like, whatever, and that's just crazy and out there. But like, it's not. It's legit not. I found some quotes here. I'll just read some of them. This is just some quotes from some famous people and some anonymous people about the power of imagination. So Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Let that just settle on you. Imagination circles the world. Carl Sagan said, imagination will often carry us to worlds that never were, but without it, we go nowhere. This one's anonymous. It just says, imagination and creativity can change the world. And I like that. I like that one a lot. That's great. Because we can, and that's what I was trying to sort of get at with this echo chamber that we find ourselves in. I was thinking, people talk about, oh, be a critical thinker. And I was like, the problem with being a critical thinker is you always need something to criticize. It's just like, it's easy to criticize. It's easy to point out, you're wrong, you're an idiot. No, you're an idiot. It's just that doesn't take us anywhere. That doesn't raise the conversation. That doesn't, it doesn't bring about substantial change, you know. The world is but a canvas to the imagination. Henry David Thoreau. I like this one. Imagination is a place where all the important answers live. This one says Alice. Is this like Alice in Wonderland? But I nearly forgot. You must close your eyes, otherwise you won't see anything. My buddy just tweeted. Hold on. I just tweeted him. Silence. Alrighty. Was the man who has no imagination has no wings. Muhammad Ali. True sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. Albert Einstein again. But these people understood. They understood like everything. Every piece of technology, the iPod, the iPhone that you hold in your hand, possibly right now, started out in the imagination, in somebody's mind, you know. Like people like Steve Jobs, that guy was a visionary. He saw beyond limitation. It's the why not people. You know, why not? Why can't we do this? Why is that impossible? To quote Braveheart again. You know, why is that impossible? Why do we have to accept the world as it is? You know, are we happy just defining the world and saying, here are the good people, here are the bad people, stay on the good side? Is that it? Is that as deep as we go? Like, seriously? Or are we reshaping the world? Are we taking hold of our imagination and actually creating something? Because we're all creating something. You're either creating art and your life is a work of art that's being broadcast to the world, or you're churning out shit, basically. You know, there's no middle ground. We're all creators. We're all creators. We're all creating something. And the question is what? Imagination is the soil that brings dreams to life. Bit of an existential one. Another Albert Einstein. Your imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. But that's the other thing too. That's the dark side too of imagination, where I almost see the world like we're all directors. We're all kind of directing the movie of our life, and sometimes we have issues from our past that just keep echoing, and it's almost like we're casting roles. We're just like, oh, you know, you can be like this person, or you can be my dad who wasn't there for me, or whatever, and we kind of fit people into places. So, you know, it's interesting, and I think, you know, you've got. It's a weird thing with humanity because we're sort of directors and actors. Like we're directing ourselves. We're the director and you know, and actors at the same time. So to fail to recognize the power of imagination is to yield to what is, and to basically capitulate. And you know, there are some dark things happening in the world. There's some crazy shit going on, and we need to talk about it, and we need to be honest about it. But the moment we feel stuck, the moment we feel like this is all there is and there's nothing else, I was thinking about it earlier. Like, you can't create a new world out of old materials. You can't create something new out of the same, you know. And I think, not to get too preachy, but I was thinking about even just the mythology, if you want to see it as mythology, about Jesus, you know, being the Son of God and the Son of Man, like taking on like the divine taking on flesh and blood and coming down to earth. It's almost like, here's some new material. I just came up with a new element, whatever, and becoming part of the system, and sparking a revolution that cause these people to become self-sacrificial people, where the Apostle Paul says in his writings, he says, I pour out my life. Even he understood, I think that life is almost, it's a work, it's a performance. We give ourselves to one another in self-sacrificial love, and in selfishness. It's both. I think it's both. I don't think you're either selfish or generous. I think you can be generously selfish. I don't know, maybe. Like, we have to look after ourselves. The Bible talks about this, is love your love your brother like you love yourself. And as I heard it quite wisely said, some people, you wouldn't want them to love you like they love themselves, because they hate themselves. So yeah, not sure how long I've been going for. I could keep going. I'm not sure how long to keep these things. I'm just going to talk for as long as it makes sense. But the main takeaway is I guess, just to wrap things up into a circle, is what are you focusing on? What are you looking at, and how is it shaping you? Because it is shaping you. You become what you behold, and that's a good closing point. Is you become what you behold. And I think these sort of anti-social justice warriors, I'm noticing, in some cases, are literally becoming what they focus on, and they're becoming what they hate. And yeah, as the great Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. What you focus on is where you end up, and it's where you're driving your vehicle. If that's where you want to drive into the car crash of social justice warrior land, then keep focusing on it, because that's where you're heading. So, power of imagination. What are you creating? What am I creating?